following the presentation, please exit the there will be no questions at the end of the presentation. I will be keeping time for you today. The first 5 minutes is protected time. No questions will be asked. At 5 minutes, I will knock on the table to allow the judges and you to know that the unprotected time will start. At 20 minutes, there'll be protected time again. Audience, there's no questions, comments, cell phones, or picture taken at any time during the presentation. Please ensure that your cell phones are off or on vibrate. Please, audience, only applaud at the end of the presentation, and there's no question and answers during the presentation from you at all. The audience, you're not allowed to wear any school colors or bear any symbols that represents your universities. And at the end of the presentation, audience, we ask you that you exit immediately. This allows our judges to have time to be able to talk and do their scorecards. Just confirming that you're Team B.
Now, my grandpa told me 2 things growing up. He told me that plumbers know 2 things. They know that crap runs downhill and paychecks on Friday. Now, obviously, my grandpa was a pessimist. But as a home builder and as somewhat of a plumber, he knew and he understood some of the innovations and some of the technology that we see in the plumbing industry right now and some of the availabilities that are offered through that. And especially on a grander scale, over the last 100 years, we've seen huge advances. And these advances not only allow for cost efficiencies in the plumbing industry, but as well ease of use, and most importantly, health safety for household citizens. Now, my name is David. I'm followed by my colleagues Dustin and Jeremy. And today we are Soul Clear Solutions. And I'd like to thank as well Jill for coming today, and as well EMCO. And we're really happy and excited to present you a brand new product that we hope that you'll invest in. So what are we and what's the solution that we want to present to you today in the product? What we do is we provide a universal and simple water filtration fitting. As well, why do we want to do this? We want to offer a simple method for those water filtration systems. We know that tradespeople, the people who deal with plumbing systems, they love those ease of use and they love the durability that products in that industry have. And obviously how we'll do it. What we want to do is we want to create a graphene fitting that actually allows for water filtration, a durable product that's something we've never seen before in Canada. So the value added, what we see. As you can see, we did a quick diagram up there, but first I'd like to just give you a quick rundown of the value of this product and why we want to bring it to market. Now, I'm going to start off with a very specific example. In our house, actually, our water is absolutely disgusting. We actually have to get a bunch of different filters to filter it, or else it actually smells literally like crap. And so what my dad actually has to do is he has to get to the water filter in our house, and every month he has to clean up the gunk. And not only that, but he actually has to get chlorine to shock chlorinate the wells, and as well he has to get salt for water softening it as well. Obviously that's time that's wasted on other things that he could be doing, but as well on the grander scale, not only our household, but Canada in general. What we see is there's large boil water advisories around the communities. People that are having to boil their waters for months on end because they can't get clean water because there's degrading infrastructure. And this is something that we want to tackle today. So as well, we want to start this product in Saskatchewan, and as well hopefully build it Canada-wide, targeting those small communities, larger cities, and as well, and most importantly, the First Nations reserves up north in Saskatchewan. We don't want to ignore them, and especially with the new housing development that's happening. We think this product has a lot of promise. So the ask today, we have about $750,000, what we asked for, which will cover the R&D, the tech development, something associated with the engineers. We'll run through that later. And as well, any costs associated if we have time missing to develop this product. So in return, essentially what we want is we want 1% royalties on any of the sales that we get from this product. And as well, we want to be attached to EMCO. We feel that their values align with us, and as well with the innovation that's going on with the housing industry, the plumbing. We want to be associated with that, and we want to work with them in the future. So So we briefly ran through the startup cost of what this product's going to see. First R&D for graphene is about $10,000. It is a little bit pricey right now, but we hope that the price will go down. So we have $10,000 allocated just to play around with it a bit, make sure our design is good, and we can get the product set for patent. As well, secondly, engineers, $95,000. Obviously, engineers aren't cheap, and this will take a little while to develop, so we made sure that we paid him reasonably for that so we can work alongside him in the development phase. As well, other materials, $2,000. That could be any of the materials that we have. The product, actually what we're going to have is a fitting. So obviously any tap that we have in a household can vary. You know, if you want a tap in your kitchen, it's going to be different than the tap in your bathroom. And so we saw this as a big problem. And so what we wanted to do is we wanted to avoid that altogether. And we wanted to go between the tap and the PVC pipe that fills the water to the tap. So essentially what that is, if we go back, as you can see the fitting there, and it's in between. And so instead of having, for my dad, in my example, to have to clean up the gunk in the huge filter in the basement, something not a lot of people know about, this will be easier for people in everyday life. They can just pull out the filter when they turn their water off, clean out the gunk or whatever else is infecting their water, and put it back in. Something very simple. So the problem identification. So in Saskatchewan, what we see is a heavy prevalence of heavy water. You know what that is? It's not just clear H2O, but it has a lot more free radicals in it, something that's making that water in my house smell disgusting. It smells like crap. As well, the degrading city water infrastructure. We hear about this time and time again, especially in the federal government, and wanting to pour billions and billions of dollars into public infrastructure because it is something of a concern. And we want to make sure that although there is degrading public infrastructure and water health risks, people at home can know that they have the filters and the water filtration systems necessary to keep them protected in those times. And as lastly, what we talked about before, those local water advisories happening in communities, not only in Saskatchewan, but as well First Nations communities around Canada. And so the opportunity, what we talked about, just can go through it again. New advances in availability in graphene and synthetic materials.
Okay, what's graphene?
Graphene, I'm not exactly 100% sure about the synthesized material, the compounds of it, but actually what it is, it's a compound that's, I think it's about 1,000 times stronger than steel. And so it's a very, very thin sheet of material, and actually what it does, it only allows water to pass through it. It says very, very small, very hard to synthesize, but we hope that in times to come, it'll actually be a lot more widely available. Does that answer your question?
So it's the filter.
Yes.
Yeah, that is the filter,
Yes.
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 The graphene is the filter.
So is graphene currently available in Canada?
Yes, it is. You can actually buy it online right now. It is a little tough to get, just because of the exclusivity of it, but we hope that in the next few years it becomes more widely available. We'll run through the cost, but just a very quick breakdown. I believe it's about $250 per cubic inch to get it. So it's a little bit pricey.
What's the exclusivity behind it?
Because since it is a synthesized material, and it is about 1,000 times stronger than steel, obviously it takes a lot of development to get to that graphene stage, the synthesized graphene. I don't know all the chemical compounds behind it or the synthesized manufacturing processes, but that's just to give you a brief idea of why it is.
So it's a filtration type, it's a filtration system. What does it do to the flow rate?
We don't actually see it adjusting the flow rate at all, just because it allows the water to pass through it freely. We haven't been able to research anything, obviously, because if you're running your taps, you don't want it to be spurting back and forth. So we don't want to mess with the flow rate at all for the water, and we don't see that being an issue, but if we do, obviously that's something we'd have to consider.
Just to add to what David was saying, there is huge investments in the graphene market right now. There is a lot of work being done at MIT and the University of Chicago. They're the two most specific schools that are working on projects like this. There is a lot more applications for graphene, such as conductivity and data storage. However, water filtration is one of the most looked at needs and wants from this product.
How long would the filter last?
Actually, the great thing about this product, and what Jeremy will touch on a little bit later, is it's not just 1 or 2 years that you have to replace it or you have to scrape it. Since this is a tough and durable material, it could last tens, maybe even hundreds of years without actually having to replace it. The only thing you would actually have to do is just clean off the material itself, or maybe adjust the screen that actually catches the free radicals before it. So it has applications to have cost savings in the future. It does have somewhat of a high startup cost, but we think the cost associated with saving from having to buy chlorine or from salt for softening your water has huge benefits. Instead of having to do that, you just buy this one-time thing.
What it also does is it saves time, right? Like David talked about how, replacing all of these things in the plumbing, it takes time, and people like simple products, and this is what it is.
So this, are you saying this replaces filtration and softening?
It could have the potential just to do the filtration. We hope it would actually replace the softening that it takes, just because we haven't been able to go 100% through exactly what all it filters, but if it actually can filter the softening effects of it, that's huge, because that saves people from having to go out and buy huge bags of salt and other softening technologies to get that water to the quality that they want.
Have you been able to quantify the cost savings to the homeowner?
No, actually, we weren't, just because time limitations, we weren't able to actually get the cost associated with that. But I imagine, given $60 bag of softening salt, and as well the chlorine associated with that, and maybe on a month basis you have to buy a new bag every year. How much is that? $120 times 5 years. It almost makes up for it itself. The average cost that we're going to charge we'll get to later. Dustin will run through that in the financials. Like I said before, we weren't able to get the exact cost for the homeowners, but we hope that you can see that for yourself. So just going back to the PowerPoint. So housing development in Saskatchewan, obviously a huge market. Saskatchewan's one of the highest rated provinces in Canada for new housing development at 8,257. That has been on a slight decline, but we feel that given the prosperity in Saskatchewan, that number should stay somewhat consistent. And as well, lastly, tradespeople look for that durable and simple design. My family comes from a vast amount of different types of tradespeople, and I understand that you do want that simple design, something that you know is going to work, and that's what we wanted to bring in on this design. So a quick timeline we went through. The pre-operation, we want to solidify investment from ENCO and make sure that we can get this product in development. As well, file for a patent. We don't want to have competitors take this product out from underneath you, and as well, find a supplier. Obviously, we need to find someone to provide that graphene, and as well make the product for you. Year one, showcase the product to contractors. Try to get on board with people who are doing the real estate development and have them implement this into new housing development. And year two plus, possible expansion out of Saskatchewan and hopefully Canada-wide, maybe in North America, just larger demographic for those housing markets. Now I'm going to pass off to Jeremy to give you a brief rundown of how you're going to market it and how you can show this value to consumers.
Thanks, David. So why we're going after you and why we want to connect with you is because your values and mission aligns with us. We talk about straight talk and honesty, and our product works. Take us to the dirtiest tap water you can find across the country, put it with our filter system, and I'll drink it. Also, we talk about fairness and caring. We care, we want everyone to do well, and with our product, people can, and people can flourish.
So what you're asking is, you want us to get into manufacturing now, right?
No, we aren't asking you to get into manufacturing. You will be the distribution. We were going to find a supplier that will manufacture them for us. We have put that into our cost projections as well. You will mainly be distributing this product because that is what you specialize in, is distribution. And we see that as being the really value added to this product. Manufacturing will be done by a third party.
So you want us to spend the money to build the product, not on the manufacturing, you get 1% royalty.
Yes.
But you would have exclusivity.
Okay.
The intellectual property is on the actual product, it's not on the filter itself. So it's the one application.
Yeah.
Do I get IP around the filter as well as the product?
We haven't actually considered that yet, just due to time constraints, but that is something that we can talk about later.
So, also your vision is 100% customer satisfaction. And with the graphene material, it allows everyone to be satisfied. They save the time that we talked about, and they can enjoy quality water. So, why it's important to do it now is because there are many government incentives across Saskatchewan and Canada. There's rebates for starting new housing in Saskatchewan. One of their goals is to have more affordable housing and for these people to be safe and to have a great place to live. Also, kitchen and bath products per year are increasing by 5%. And this results in a $12.3 billion industry for these kitchen and bath products. So how you can do it and what exactly we're going to do is, so what the product is, like we talked about, is a graphene filter that only allows water to pass through. So any of the bad things do not. And the average price, depending on the size of the order, is going to be approximately $251. As well,
How many faucets in a home?
We are assuming that there's approximately 3 to 4.
and our first year, we found about 20% of Saskatchewan fire. With your place with MCO, you do have showrooms that you can show off your products, and we believe that this will be a great demonstration of the filter technology, showing clear pipes and the water being filtered through the product. With that promotion, you'll have a demonstration booth that you can show at trade shows as well. So with our competitors, you have filtered water containers, like a Brita that holds your water, but the problem with that is that you have to replace the water filtration system, and you basically have to sell your house to afford these things. So, it's not ideal. Also, you have fitted tap water filters, but those can be very expensive. They're clunky. They may not fit on the aesthetically pleasing waterfall-like taps that you find in modern houses. And they're also cost-intensive.
What percentage of households use fitted filters right now? Do you know?
We weren't able to see that, just with our information that we have collected, we weren't able to figure that out. So.
Can you go to your financials?
Okay. So just to be clear, we realize at MCO you do a lot of selling to mass contractors. So we did do some revenue projections based on quantity. If you're to buy one individual unit, it's going to be around $280. We do see only about 10% of people actually ordering below 100. We do see 75% of people buying between 100 and 999, and then that gives us an average purchase price of around $251.02 per unit. And this is just a cost breakdown. So graphene currently, synthetic graphene, is about $200 per square inch. With viewing bulk orders, we believe that we could push this price down to $150 per square inch. And then the housing that we're going to manufacture will cost around 10 cents per unit in the manufacturing plant. And then we are going to pay 50 cents per unit to the manufacturer that puts these together.
Okay, I'm looking at your income statement here and the units sold. Why are you anticipating a slowing growth rate in terms of units sold over the 5-year period?
I'm sorry, that should not be looking exactly like that. This is based on just going after the Saskatchewan market at first.
So do you see the product plateauing at a certain point, or do you see this having an opportunity to have continued growth rate?
Or do you want to?
Oh, yeah. Everyone deserves clean water, and this is a universal product that can work across Canada, North America, and the world.
Yeah, so we hope that how you market it and how you approach the sales of it, you not only stick in Saskatchewan, but you find other uses for it, especially internationally. It really depends on how you want to go about the market segments.
So looking at these financials, in year one, we are budgeting for around 8,000 units sold. This is based off of having above 8,000 new housing developments started with an average of 3 to 4 faucets per household. And then that way we capture 20% of those new developments, and then we can get up to that 8,000 units sold. To create future prosperity, in year 10, we do really see this becoming a very good, successful product at around 70,000 units sold. The purchase price, we do believe, will have to go down. There will be competitors entering the market. However, in the original financials, the price does stay the same, except the expense to produce this is going down by 5% every year because the technologies that are going into producing the synthetic graphene are getting better. It was actually just 2 years ago when this used to cost $1,000 per square inch. So we are seeing very positive technological advancements that are driving down cost, and there is a lot of application for this, so there is going to be a lot of supply. And getting in at this time, based on the opportunities presented by both of my colleagues, is the absolute best way to go in this industry.
Can you go back to your unit economic side, your revenue streams?
Yes.
I just want to confirm, these are wholesale prices to the contractor, not end prices or retail prices to the consumer?
Yes.
Okay, do you know what the markup would be, or a suggested retail price to the consumer?
We are specifically looking at just doing B2B. We were thinking that MCO would take that on. If we do have to do some negotiating on price, you do have all of the information on our margins, so it would be something we'd look at. We are focused on providing you with the numbers that you can then work with and provide it to the customer.
In your expenses, you've got, I'm assuming in here, you've got manufacturing costs.
Yes.
What else is in there?
We have the manufacturing costs and the cost for the graphene. It's all the costs that I break down and outline right here. Yes, because we are marketing this to you as a product. We want to let you know what your costs will be. When you do flow these in through your entire financial statements, there will be salaries added into expenses. However, this is just to show the profitability of this product on its own.
So there's no marketing in there, there's no, like this is, I'll say an OEM, is it?
I will still answer your question. Yes, when we were looking at this case, we did see that it looked like an opportunity to do business to consumer. We wanted to make sure that we gave you the information, as much information as we could to provide you with enough direction to go with this. We do see that MCO is a very large corporation and distribution is your specialty. You do have trade shows. It's not going to be an extra expense to set up one booth with a filter and show the dirty water get clean. So we do see that it plays to a lot of your strengths already, and that you will be able to continue into the future with prosperity. And I'll pass it off to Dave to talk about risks and mitigations and conclude the presentation.
Perfect, thank you, Dustin. So obviously with any business venture or any new products that are be coming onto the market, there is going to be some risks that are associated with it. So we did outline a few for you today. Obviously the first one, do not meet the forecasted sales. That's usually attributed to a little bit of a marketing deficit. So we do suggest that you do increase that marketing budget. As you asked before, we didn't attach any marketing associated with those costs. So that's entirely up to you on how you exactly want to market this product. Secondly, direct competitors using graphene. We really want to push, and I didn't put this on there, that if you do decide to do this, you do this within a year or two. Because what's going to happen is people are going to see this new product coming up, and they're going to attack it head on. So you want to make sure that you guys get there first as the first movers as MCO. As well as look to reduce product price as well. We do have a little bit of a markup on it, so that's entirely up to you if you want to negotiate a reduced price for contractors. As well, last one, patent discrepancy. There's a lot of different patents on the market right now that we see, but those are usually associated with any discrepancies on the design itself. It could be small measurements. So what we'd want to do is just go back to the drawing board, maybe make a few adjustments to that design itself. And so we'd like to conclude to you today. Thank you for coming, MCO and Joe, for listening to us today. We hope that you do consider taking on this new product. We really do think that it incorporates the technologies and advancements that we have seen in Saskatchewan and in Canada to increase the, not only just the cost efficiencies and the health safety of people in Canada, but as well the standard of living throughout Canada, providing people with that standard quality of water that we see here in Canada, and we want to better that. We want to be a part of that, and we hope that you will as well. Thank you.